All ready? Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 110 episodes, the 110th episode of the Koi Marketplace. Sorry, we are a couple minutes late. I apologize. We had a bit of a technical issue. A million and one things going on, as usual, but all good things. You can pretty much guarantee that someone's going to turn in here as soon as we start, and that's exactly what just happened. How's everyone doing this week? I hope you guys had a great week. It was definitely a warmer week. Gabe, could you see what he's looking for? So you could park over here. Why don't you? We need to move all the company vehicles over there. Could you put Michael's car over there and ask Chris if he can move his car over there? Sorry. So we are actually working on the parking situation here. We're going to be moving some stuff around because it's getting a bit cramped. We have all this stuff going on here, and multiple customers are putting all their cars up here and blocking. Employees are putting their cars in the spots where we have our customers. Good morning. How are you? It's been a while. Good to see you.
You filming?
We are. Okay. We are. No, that's all good. It's coming out good though. Thank you. So we made a lot of progress here this week. I'm definitely very happy. The pond team, Sound Shore Pond, is doing an incredible job. By far, 100% the best work they've ever done. So if you're thinking about building a pond, you need to come to Koi Market and let's talk. When you see this stuff, you're just going to be blown away. I am not turning this on right now. So I am not showing you what it looks like. We actually have our grand opening on April 13th. So we're not going to actually show it running until the grand opening, at least not on film. We do have a couple of news channels coming down. We have a lot of stuff that's going to be happening in the area over here. Very, very exciting. So, okay. How many people are on? Good morning, everyone. How was your week this week? What's the weather where you guys are? Just curious to know. Over here, it's been in the 60s, right? Yeah, today, I mean, the sun is shining. You can see the sun actually just came out this very second. The sun is out. It's probably going to be in the high 60s today. And yeah, but next week, I think it's supposed to drop back into the 40s. Is that true? That's what I heard. It's going to drop back into the 40s, so it's unfortunate, but it's going to be what it's going to be. We did start opening ponds, so I wanted to talk about that, but let's wait for a couple more people to come on board. How many people are on now? 17. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone going? We were just talking about what the temperature is there, where you guys are at. Are you opening your ponds yet? Is the next question. I'm just curious, who's opening their ponds? Let me know who's opening your ponds and where you're located. We want to know. I'm just curious what's happening in the rest of the country versus what's happening here. Yeah, so please tell me. Yes. Hey, Ed. Awesome. Excellent. Thank you, Ed. Thank you. Ed's been here many times and he's picked out some amazing fish. So Ed, thank you. We do have some progress being made. I'm going to take you in the back first. So come on this way. So we haven't actually made any progress. Well, we've made some progress in the fountain area, but I think I showed that to you last week. We didn't do anything this week. So this whole area is still the same. We haven't touched this yet, just because we have so much other stuff going on. That hasn't been touched, but we have progress here. all the aquatic plants are done. So very excited about that. They came out absolutely gorgeous. My good friend Chris Vesley put so much love and attention into getting these to look awesome. He really did a good job. And we're moving the pergola. So you can see we're actually, so take a look over here you can probably see it from here. So the pergola over there is now gone in front of that koi house. So that's gone. We're going to be redoing the front of that greenhouse. The garage door, the other door to the right, all that's going away. The plastic, everything is being changed so it looks nice. I'll have a nice double clear door in the front. And that's the entrance for the big koi house. So that's changing there. Eventually. It's on the list of things to do. And, we're moving the parking lot closer to that building. So that's happening there. And I showed you guys this last week, but I'll show it to you again. So this is our fountain area here. I have to be careful where I stand. But this will be filled with gravel, and we'll have a whole bunch of awesome different fountains in this area. Basically, this is a fountain showroom here. So we have a lot of different ideas we're going to be doing. This is actually a fountain wall here, and it's got a spillway that will fall down this whole thing. So we'll actually have 3 spillways that fall down on this piece here. Really cool piece from Aquascape, and I can't wait. Whoa! I can't wait to get that going. So we have the aqua box here, but we have this that goes down on top of the aqua blocks for additional support, and then we put the gravel down. So that goes on there just like that. And these actually cover over this whole thing. And the reason we do this is we don't want to fill this entire void with gravel because that would be crazy and you'd never be able to clean it. Instead, it's filled with what's called aqua blocks. So these aqua blocks fill this entire void. This is an 18 by 20 space here. And it'll be for all different kinds of fountains that you can put in the front or the back of your house. And then we also work with formal ponds, pool contractors, and I showed you this last week when we finished this wall, and you can see the various steppers we have on this wall. I haven't had time to plumb this yet, but this is on my list to do this week, is to get this plumbed up and get this running. So all these will be working. The shear descents will also be on, and I can't wait for you guys to see these shear descents running, especially this one here, because it's 16 separate spouts on here, and I showed it to you last week, but I'm showing it to you again because I'm just super excited about it. And the pergola, as I said, we took down, and come on over here. I'm not sure if my friend Chris is on and watching, but we took the pergola down very carefully, piece by piece. Chris took everything down. He numbered everything, and he actually made an exact duplicate of a template of exactly where every single piece was in the ground, and he laid it out on the ground here. So he knows exactly where every single one of these pieces goes. Pretty amazing. I'm very excited about, what he did here. And he's recreating that whole thing here. So this whole area will be the pergola area. Very excited about that. And just carrying these beams here. See these beams? These beams you can't get these. If you can, I wouldn't know where to get them. We got them from Suburban Water Gardens. Unfortunately he passed away. It's probably about it's at least 3 years ago now. He had passed away, and there were a lot of things on the property, and all this wood was in a pile in the back. And we took this wood and we repurposed it. We built the pergola out of it. But these pieces here, these are 24-foot beams. They're at least 200 pounds a piece. And I was sweating bringing them back here. Chris and I carried them back here, and I don't know. I don't think Chris didn't really flinch, but I was sweating. They were pretty heavy. But I'm excited to see exactly what this is going to look like. So the pergola actually starts here. So the front poles of the pergola here. This will be open space here, and the pergola will be about 2 feet off the back there. And yeah, everything is based on exactly what we had over there. So I'm excited. It'll be great. And actually, Chris and I have to go over this space because he hasn't actually seen what we're doing here, and I want to make sure that he is all cool with everything that we're doing. If anything has to be moved or changed, now would be the time to discuss it. So we have to talk about that. And yeah, that's really it for back here for now. Aquatic plants. So we're starting to get questions on aquatic plants. Customers coming in saying, can I buy aquatic plants? So aquatic plants actually, you can't even put them in until late April or May. The water is too cold. The nights are too cold. So that's part of the problem is a lot of these plants, maybe during the day it's still warm, but at nighttime it cools down and the plants will actually burn out, especially the tropicals. The tropicals can't handle it. So aquatic plants definitely later in the season. So you're looking at towards the end of April into May, and then it's all based on temperature. If we keep going the way we're going, I don't know, maybe it'll be sooner. When's Mother's Day? Who knows when Mother's Day is? What is that date? Everyone's looking it up. Michael's looking it up right now. For aquatic plants? So May 12th is Mother's Day. So we usually start, can you look up historically what the temperature is around Mother's Day? So for plants, 40 degrees definitely way too cold. So Mother's Day weekend is usually the first weekend we start selling plants. It's either the weekend before or Mother's Day weekend. So May 12th is Mother's Day weekend. So someone's going to look up, Michael's actually looking up to see historically what the temperature is around that time. But it's definitely not 40 degrees. So you're going to be in the 70s, at that time, I would think. So probably about 60s at nighttime, 70s during the day. But Michael's checking to see what the historicals are. So what about everyone else? So have you guys started opening your ponds yet? Let's have a conversation about that. The lows, I think 40s are too low. Yeah, 40s are too low. Is that okay? Like that? We'll raise it up a little bit. So let's talk about spring openings. Have you guys started opening your ponds yet? Just curious to know if you've started the process. I know you're thinking about opening your ponds. The winter went by really quickly. We had a very mild winter here in New York. How many people we have on? 30, 32? 3. So comments are working, it looks like, this time around. So last week we had an issue with comments not going through. So today it looks like comments are working. So guys, tell me a little bit of, let's have an open discussion here. Tell me about your ponds. Have you opened your pond yet? Do you leave your pond open all winter? When are you looking to open your ponds? So in the past, years ago, we started opening ponds in April, so April 1st. Now we actually start opening ponds March 1st. Now, there's 2 reasons for that. 1, the weather has changed, and 2, we literally have so many ponds to open. I think we're in the 275 to 300 area now, as far as the amount of openings that we have to do. We have to start doing it earlier. We have 3 teams ourselves. Koi Market has 3 teams that go out every single day to do spring openings. And, depending on the size of the pond, we can get X amount done. So we do 1 a days, 2 a days, or 3 a days. 2 a days sounds like it's actually a football term too, or 2. They do use that for, the football teams that are in practice. They do 2 a days and whatnot. But 1 a day would mean that, all right, that team got a very large pond to do, and it takes 1 team all day. 2 a day obviously means that they can get 2 done, or 3 a day means they can get 3 smaller ones done. And it all depends on, how that pond was maintained too. We get this comment a lot, well, I have a really small pond, you should do it really quickly. It doesn't actually work exactly like that. Yes, it should take less time, but there are other factors that come into play. So one, how is the pond maintained? If the pond was not maintained very well and is very dirty, I've had a little pond take twice as long as long as a big pond because the pond wasn't maintained properly. What is the how many spigots do we have access to? So if I have to cut a spigot into two, that doesn't really help me. But if there are multiple spigots around the house that we can use that have good water pressure, then we can get the job done a lot faster. We can empty and fill the pond faster. We can run more than one power washer at a time, which allows us to clean the pond faster. So there's a bunch of, and does the pond have gravel or not? If the pond has gravel in it, then it takes longer to clean the ponds as well versus a bare liner. Cleaning the gravel means that we literally have to go through every area of gravel. We put hoses in between every single rock. We flush out all the muck, and which actually takes me to a good segue where I want to talk about spring openings in general. So any comments or questions? Who's opened their pond? Who's thinking about opening their? They've already opened their ponds? Okay. Where are they located? So just curious where you guys are located. Definitely want to hear from you guys, where you're at, if you've opened your ponds already. Like I said, we started opening our ponds earlier. And let's talk about opening your pond for the season. So there's a lot of things that come into play. You need to have a holding tank, and a holding tank that can hold the amount of fish that you have. You need to have an aerator on hand. And what we do is we take the water from the pond and we empty it and we fill up the holding tank, and then we move the fish from the pond to the holding tank. When we do that, and we're going to talk a little detail here, we use pan nets and we use koi socks in order to capture the fish. So a pan net is meant to corral. You see in the nets that we have, I actually have nets coming in, so we can definitely talk about that if you guys need nets. A pan net is never, ever, ever meant to lift the fish out of the water. It's only meant to corral the fish into a location, and then you use the koi sock to scoop the fish up with some water, pick that up nice and level, stretched out, and you're going to move that over to the holding tank. Okay? You're going to move all your fish over, take the aerator that's running your ponds, and everyone should have an aerator. If you don't have an aeration system, we need to talk about that too. Everyone should have an aeration system. Move that aeration system over to the holding tank, and the position of where you put the holding tank is important. One, you want to keep it out of the sun because you don't want it heating up from the sun. It's going to be that much harder to acclimate the fish back to the pond water when you fill that pond back up. So you want to put your holding tank into a shady area. You want to make sure, although the water is cold, they're probably not going to jump at this time of the year. Later when it gets warmer, they will. You want to make sure you put a net over the pond. So take the net that was covering the pond for the winter and cover it and use that to cover over the holding tank while you're cleaning the pond. Just added protection to make sure the fish don't jump out. Fish tend to jump out of any environment when it's a new environment. If the water's really cold, they'll likely stay calmer. That being said, you never want to take the chance. So you've now taken the water out. You've put your fish in the side. You have an aerator running your holding tank. You have a net over that. You're now ready to clean the pond. Okay, so we use power washers. Some customers say, what do you mean you can use a power washer on a liner? You can definitely use a power washer on a liner. You have to be very careful with it. You have to use the right spray nozzle. You cannot use a nozzle that's pointing straight forward. It has to be a wide spray. Okay? And you cannot leave the power washer in one spot. You have to always be moving around, and you need to stay a couple of feet back, at least 2 feet back when you're doing it. Okay? It's not a bad thing to have green on the sidewalls of the pond. It's not a bad thing at all. There's biofilm there, and that biofilm is where your nitrous ammonium and your nitrobacter and your sludge-eating bacteria live. They survive on every surface in your pond. So you want to try and leave some there. I mean, quite honestly, if you could leave the sides, I would leave the sides and just do the bottom. So you're going to power wash the whole pond, and once the pond is power washed, you need to have a pump at the bottom. We use commercial vacuums. Not everyone has access to this, but you need a what we call a sludge pump. Okay, it's a pump that will get down to about an inch to an inch and a half from the bottom of the pond. I mean, you can't get every last thing up with one of these pumps. A vacuum would help because the vacuum will get everything. But you're basically going to find the lowest point in the ponds, move the gravel away. If you have gravel, or if it's just liner, you can see where the lowest point in the pond is. That's where that pump is going to go. Okay? You are then going to take your hose and you are going to rinse. Then this is what this takes a lot longer than power washing, is rinsing the pond. Okay? You literally need to take your hose and stick it into every little crevice behind every little rock, and wash it down. It's interesting. I can take a hose. I have a stone that's like this. I can take a hose and stick it into that side, and you'll literally see tons and tons of sludge come out. I can move that hose over a couple of inches, and then I'll have a ton more sludge. There's so much sludge that breaks down and collects behind the stones. If you don't take the time to rinse it out, you're not doing it correctly. We do get a lot of customers that say, I clean out my ponds, I lower the water, I take 3/4 of the water out. That's not cleaning your pond, guys. Okay, cleaning your pond is emptying the pond, taking everything out. If you're going to lower the pond, take most of the water out, but then hose everything down and everything's still sitting in the pond, then you haven't actually cleaned the pond. You've done a big water change, but you haven't cleaned the pond. All those solids, all that debris is still sitting in the pond, and it's all food source for algae. Okay, it harbors bad bacteria, and it definitely needs to get removed on a yearly basis. Okay, do you guys have any questions about this at this point? I know I'm talking about a lot of things here, so please hit me with any questions you have. How many people we have on? 45? 35. So we have 35 people on. Good morning to everyone. This is the 110th episode of the Koi Live Marketplace, and we are talking about spring openings. So we've gotten to the point where we've now rinsed the pond down, and the pump has now pulled everything out that you could possibly pull out. The sun is coming out. Thank you. It definitely still gets a little cold here when the clouds come in. So we've now rinsed the pond down, and all the sludge is at the bottom, and we've now sucked it all out. We now want to fill the pond back up. Okay, when we're filling the pond back up, we want to add certain things. So what we do, and listen, everyone does things a certain way. What we do is we add Chloromex, okay, which is an ammonia detoxifier, but it's also a detoxifies chlorine, detoxifies chloramines. Okay, you can also use a product called Ultimate, which does even more than it also detoxifies heavy metals. Okay, so we add that. We add baking soda. We add beneficial bacteria. That's sludge-eating bacteria. Now, guys, this is important to discuss. Do not, under any circumstances, add a nitrifying bacteria to the ponds until your water is 65 degrees or more. Okay, you are wasting your money if you put it in beforehand. Okay, nitrous ammonium and nitrobacter bacteria need warmer water. Are you able to raise this up at all? Does that go higher? Because I'm looking at, there you go. Sorry, just gonna have a quick drink. So, lots of you are using beneficial bacteria. If you're using a beneficial bacteria, you're using a sludge-eating bacteria. You're gonna get the pond started, and understand that beneficial bacteria is something you're gonna use on a weekly to bi-weekly basis throughout the entire season. It's not a one and done thing. Okay, you need to continually use this product throughout the season. Really important. Okay, so we're using beneficial bacteria. We put a We also use a phosphate binder. Oh, you got a question? Yes. Hi, Kathy. Okay. So you can start using Proform PC. But Proform PC is a sludge-eating bacteria. It's not a nitrifying bacteria. So that's what I'm trying to explain here is that we're talking about two totally different things. So Microbe PL, Proform PC, any of the crystal clear benefit like muck off, all these. Hey Kyle, how are you? All these bacteria. Thank you. Wait till you see that working. Oh, it's unbelievable. Thank you.
They're on camera. These people need to come here.
Thank you.
Can I say it?
Of course you can.
This guy is the most awesome koi dude in the world. Next to him, who's also awesome. You guys need to come here and see this place. Get on a plane and make the trip.
Thank you.
If you're on the other side of the country or the world. It's got the best fish in the world, and they know more about fish than anyone else on the planet.
Thank you, buddy.
All right?
Thank you. You too, Kyle. Watch your step. We'll talk. Thank you. Okay, so we're talking about beneficial bacteria. So you have sludge-eating bacteria and you have nitrifying bacteria. Okay, sludge-eating bacteria is going to break down any debris in the pond. Adding a phosphate binder is going to adding a flocculant is going to bring any solids together like dead algae and debris. It's going to clump that together so that it can actually be picked up by your filter. Okay, because you're always going to have solids in the pond after you clean the pond. Things will settle down. Okay, so we've added a dechlorinator, like I said, Chloromex or Ultimates. We've added our baking soda. Okay, baking soda is going to do two things. Okay, it's going to raise and buffer your pH. So it'll only raise it to a max of 8.4, but it's also going to buffer it. So it's going to buffer your pH, which means it's going to keep it level. It's going to keep it steady, and it's going to raise your KH. And it's really important to have a proper level KH, okay, which is your alkalinity. We try and keep it about 125, which is 7 drops. And the reason for that is having a higher KH will keep your beneficial bacteria active. Okay, it's almost like a steroid. It makes it work, makes your bacteria work harder. And that's your sludge-eating bacteria and your nitrifying bacteria. So it's super important to be using a KH booster, which by the way, Koi Pharma has a KH booster coming out. I will talk about that in later episodes as we release that product. What else are we adding to the ponds? You want to make sure you have thermometers. So very important. You got a question? Prozzy lasts quite a number of years. I'm not sure if it does actually expire. It lasts a very long time. And we'll talk about adding Prozzy and Proform C prophylactically at the beginning of the season. I'm gonna get to that. So hold that thought. You can hit me up with a question again, but I'm going to mention that after I finish this discussion. Okay. So we've talked about pH, we've talked about KH, we've talked about a bunch of things. Now let's talk about temperature. Okay. Now, if you're opening your pond in March or April, and also depending on where you are in the country, your temperature coming out of the tap is going to be very cold. Okay. So you need to make sure that the water in the holding tank gets acclimated to the same temperature within, let's say, to a temperature within 2 degrees of the water that's in the ponds. Well, how do you do that? Okay. So this is, I like to have 2 thermometers on hand, but you can have one and go back and forth. So the first thing to do is go and take the temperature of the water in the ponds. Okay. Once you know the temperature of the water in the pond, go take the temperature of the water in the holding tank. 99% of the time, the water that's in the holding tank is going to be warmer than the water that's in the ponds. It's because the water that's in the pond is coming from the tap. It's going to be colder water, and it's assuming that the water that's been sitting in the holding tank, whether it's in the sun or not, it's going to raise almost definitely in temperature. Okay, what you need to do is you need to take your dechlorinator, your Ultimate or your Chloromex, and you need to put it in your holding tank, and then you need to take the hose and you run it in the holding tank. Okay? You're going to take your thermometer. Once you know the temperature of the water in the ponds, you're going to put it in your holding tank. And you're going to leave that hose running. Okay? Even if the pond overflows, you can let some water out. Okay, guys, we've been doing this for 15 years, and this is how we've been doing it, exactly like this, with never ever an issue. Okay, this is how it has to be done. So you're going to take your hose, you're going to put it in the holding tank, and you're going to continue to put water into that holding tank, and it's going to slowly change the temperature in that holding tank to the temperature of the water in the ponds. You want to be within 2 degrees. Anything more than that, and it can shock the fish, and it's going to stress the fish out, and you could potentially have other issues. Okay? Any questions about that? Okay, we got 4 questions.
Jason wants
Hey, Jason.
They do work most efficiently at temperatures above 65. However, you need these bacteria even at lower temperatures. Great info, your answer.
Thank you. I like to wait till the water is in the 60s before I put nitrifying bacteria in. I find that before then, sure you can. It's not that if it's lower than that, it's not that they're going to die off, but they need the warmer temperature in order to thrive. They're just not going. They're when the water's in the 50s up to 60, they're just coming out of their dormancy stage. So your pond is always naturally going to have Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter bacteria in it. That's the Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter bacteria remove the ammonium nitrate that's created by the fish. So let's talk about that nitrification cycle really quickly. Okay, your fish pee and they poop in the water, and that's ammonia. It's very toxic to the fish. Okay, your Nitrosomonas is the first bacteria, and then your Nitrobacter is the second. Your Nitrosomonas eats the ammonia and it converts it to a nitrite. Nitrite also very toxic. Your Nitrobacter bacteria eats the nitrite and converts it to less harmless nitrate, and you remove nitrates from the pond by doing water changes. And when we can put plants in the pond when it's warm enough, the plants will also remove nitrates from the ponds. So that is the nitrification process. Without this process, your fish will end up getting sick and dying. So when you talk, listen, I've gotten this question 20 times this week. Can I feed my fish? If you're going to feed your fish at this time, I would advise you do it very sparingly, only a tiny bits. Let them eat the algae that's in the pond, because you're basically your fish may want to eat, but you're creating a potential toxic situation. Okay, if your fish eat and they create waste, you need something to process that waste. The nitrifying bacteria, your Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter bacteria, which are dormant and or just waking up, are not ready to handle the waste that's created by the fish. So your fish are basically sitting in their own waste. They're going to break down. They're going to get sick. You're going to end up with bacterial issues. And then you're opening up a whole other can of worms. So you really need to try and hold back on the feedings this early. You can start very slowly. It's all temperature based. Okay. Bacterial issues are a great example of that. Like we have customers that, we talked about doing things prophylactically, treating bacterial issues at this time of the season. When the water's so cold, you're just throwing your money away. Fish can't really heal very well in the cold water. So putting any bacterial treatments in the pond, feeding with a bacterial control food, it's too early. Okay, you need your water to be warm. It's got to be in the 60s in order to do that. So we're going to talk about what you're going to do prophylactically in a second. So you had a couple more questions.
This one, because
Go ahead.
how much baking soda do you add per 1,000 gallons?
Okay, so excellent question. Okay, how much baking soda do you add for 1,000 gallons? Okay, so 1, you have to have an alkalinity test kit. Okay, and 2, it's a half a cup of baking soda or a KH booster per 1,000 gallons will raise 20 points. Okay, well, what the heck does that mean? All right, so let's talk about this for a second. You want your alkalinity to be 125 plus. You can go all the way up to 300 or more, and that's okay. Okay, overdosing on baking soda is generally not an issue. Getting it to 300 is pretty difficult. Okay, so you want to be at 125 plus. So you need to have an alkalinity test kit to do that. That's around 7 drops. And you'll read the packaging and it'll explain to you how to do it. It's fairly easy to test. So let's say you test and it comes out at around 105. So you're going to look at your chart, it comes out at 105. You have a 1,000-gallon tank, a 1,000-gallon pond. Okay, a half a cup of baking soda will raise it 20 points. So if I put a half a cup in 1,000 gallons, it would raise it 20 points to get to 125. Okay, and you basically have to do the math based on what your gallonage is. But using 1,000 gallons as the example was perfect because it's a half a cup per 1,000 gallons will raise your alkalinity 20 points. So great question. I hope I answered that question. If you have any other questions about that, please ask me.
I would like to know your opinion on salt. And we use salt as not in the.
So questions about salt. We use salt in our retail facility. We use it for various things. Salt in the past used to be used for parasitic issues. Parasites have become a bit stronger, and the salt levels you'd need to bring it up to in order to kill a lot of those parasites is so high that most people wouldn't actually do it. So keeping salt in the ponds. So anything over 0.1% or 1.0 ppt would kill any plants in the pond, and that's 1 pound per 100 gallons would be 0.1% or 1.0 ppt, that's parts per thousand. Okay, so that would be 1 pound per 100 gallons. At 1 pound per 100 gallons, it's not a bad thing to keep in the pond when you're starting out your ponds. And the reason why you keep it at a 1.0 ppt or 0.1% is because of nitrites. So when you're starting out your ponds, and we talked about the nitrification cycle, and this is really interesting how this all works out. There's only one time you ever want to see nitrite in the ponds. Okay? And you say, wait, what are you talking about? You want to see nitrite in the ponds? You know why you want to see nitrite in the ponds? The only reason you'd ever want to see nitrite in the pond is because you cannot get nitrites unless the cycle is actually working. Okay? So your nitrous ammonia eats the ammonia and converts it to a nitrite. So if you have nitrites, you know that your cycle is actually starting to function. But once you know that you have it, the first thing you need to do is a water change. And the second thing you need to do is then put salt in. Put salt in at as I was saying, 1 pound per 100 gallons. And the reason why is keeping it at that level, which is 1.0 ppt or 0.1%, will stop any nitrite from entering the bloodstream of the fish, which can cause what's called brown blood disease. I am throwing a million things at you guys at one time. I know, but there's a lot of things to talk about, and we can break this up into smaller discussions to talk about this, but it was a good question asked, should I keep salt in the pond? So when you're first opening the ponds, we do actually have a pure salt product coming out under Koi Pharma, but having salt in the pond in the beginning of the season is not a bad thing for those reasons. I hope I answered that question. Anything more than that 0.1%, you don't necessarily need to do unless you had a separate quarantine where you were salting. If you're setting up a quarantine tank because you got new fish and you're bringing fish in, then you could bring that all the way up to a 0.5 or 0.6. Now 0.5 would be 5 pounds per 100 gallons. 0.6 would be 6 pounds per 100 gallons. And you're going to keep it at that level for about 2 weeks. All good questions. Too much salt will crash. I mean, could it have an effect on beneficial bacteria? I haven't seen, we never go beyond 0.6, which would be 6 pounds per 100 gallons. I've never seen that occur. I'm not saying that anything above that couldn't actually cause that to happen. But guys, we do this, we bring in fish all the time. So we have fish shipments from Japan coming in all the time. We bring our salt level up to 0.6. That's 6 pounds per 100 gallons. We have a lot of fish in the tank. And does it affect your nitrifying bacteria? We have not found it to do that at all.
What is it safe to start running?
You can start running them now, in the 50s, as long as you know that you're on your way up and you're in the 50s, you can start it now, and that's safe to start running it.
Microglyph PL will also remove nitrates via liquefaction. They consume nitrates and convert to nitrogen gas, which is harmlessly released into the atmosphere. This completely cycles the total nitrogen from the pond. Also helps prevent algae blooms. I love this.
So listen, microglyph PL is a sludge-eating bacteria, and everything you just mentioned, yes. It does not do nitrification, okay? They actually have a different product for that called Night Out. Okay, there's different types of bacteria. There's sludge-eating bacteria, and there's nitrifying bacteria. I just want to make sure you guys understand there's a difference between the two. So your sludge-eating bacteria you can add now. Your in your 55 to 60 range, you can add now. Adding in a nitrifying bacteria, I would not add until you're in the 60s.
Jane Danica says,
hi, Jane.
If you use some salt, do you use all medicine?
No. So good question. Jane said if you use salt, can you use other medications? So there are definitely some medications you cannot use with salt. There are some you can. You can definitely use Prezi and salt together, if it's a pure Prezi product. I know the Owl product works fine with it. I don't know about other brands, but you want to make sure it's a high quality Prezi Quantal. So definitely can be mixed. That being said, you cannot mix a broader spectrum, which is malachite and formalin solution. You cannot mix that with salt because you can kill your fish. Okay, that can be a very toxic situation. So you need to be careful there. So if you're going to prophylactically treat your fish, make sure you do the salts afterwards. Okay, so you can prophylactically treat a broad spectrum above 50 degrees or above, and Prezi can actually be used at just about any temperature. But you can actually use the broad spectrum and the Prezi together. The Prezi will actually melt really well with a broad spectrum treatment. We actually have our pure broad spectrum releasing in April, so I'm pretty excited about that. It's an amazing product, and we actually have it coming out in a dosing bottle in the 32 ounce, and we have a 2.5 gallon bottle size, which is the only 2.5 gallon bottle out there. So I'm excited to release those. Michael, pure broad spectrum, thoughts on release sometime mid-April? Yeah, so sometime in mid-April, we'll have our broad spectrum treatments releasing. So we're excited about that. We also have our pure salts coming out. We have our pure KH booster coming out, and we also have our pure carbon product coming out. So lots of things happening from Koi Pharma. So very excited about that. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Kieran O'Brien says, hi, Sean. It's Kieran.
Hey, Kieran, what's up, buddy? Hi. That's it? All right. So we just talked about a whole bunch of things. And I hope I didn't throw too much information at you at one time. If you do live on Long Island and you're looking for a spring opening, you guys can certainly give us a call, 516-547-0164. You can also text me at the same number. I'm happy to talk to you about it. We are super, super booked. I'm just going to be totally upfront with you. I hate to get calls from customers and say like, hey, we're very, very booked as far as spring openings, but we are pretty booked. I can't complain though. I mean, I'm very happy to be booked. Just adding another team is not something that's possible. We have 3 teams that are going, and every team has to be properly trained to open upon. And it sounds like, it's not too difficult, but you know what? We're handling everyone's precious, cargo. So we need to take extra special care. All of our guys need to know exactly what they're doing, handling the fish, and handling the equipment, and acclimating the fish back to the right temperature, and applying the right water treatments. So all of our teams have been trained for years, and this is what they do. So adding additional teams, we could potentially add another team next year and get even more done. But if you do need a spring opening and it doesn't need to happen right away, then definitely you can give me a call. Any other questions before we move on? I have Mike and Gabe here. Say hi, guys. Cool. All right. So we're going to move on. I'm going to show you, the pond is not running, but I'm going to show you where we're at, because it looks freaking awesome. We've been showing the progress since the beginning. We are looking at, here, come this way. I sat down because I'm super tired. This week, I definitely got my butt kicked. It was a lot of work done this week. So, I don't know where this came from. Have you ever seen this before? I've never seen this before. I have no idea where that came from. We're very excited about the aquatic plant area. We actually have another tank over there that we're doing for floating plants, and we'll probably set up a couple more tanks down there for floating plants. We may have something else coming in this area here. Still, I know I talked about it a while ago. We can still talk about the things that are happening. We may have something here happen. Whether it happens this year or not, we'll see. So I don't want to say anything about what's potentially going here because I don't want to ruin the surprise. But come on over here. You guys okay being on camera? So if you remember, the pergola was here. So it was in this area here. Guys are just doing some quick electrical work here. I don't want to say quick. They're just doing some electrical work here. Quick is definitely the wrong. So they're just doing a couple of things. They're running some electric for us. But the whole pergola came down here, and the parking bumpers are actually going to get moved up. So they're going to get moved up to probably about here, which will give us, it's not giving us any more parking spaces, but it's going to give us more room to park because it's been a little bit difficult. So we're going to move it up a little bit and give us a little bit more space. This entire wall here is going to get replaced here. The garage door is coming out. That door is coming out. This huge air vent is coming out of here. And we should definitely see if this thing works because we could use it in the bonsai house. I need to talk to Chris about that. But this will be polyplastic, and I have these gorgeous clear double doors that will go right here. This is the big koi house, and all is good in the world. So I'm excited about that. We had actually put the pergola here because I hated the look of this, and I just wanted it to look nicer here. But we need the space. We see that now, and that's what we're gonna. You got a question? Hey, Mike. He actually will. We'll go stop by and talk to Chris. He's actually doing a couple things. Gabe, could you do me a favor? Go run over to Chris and just ask him if it's okay if we come in for a few. We're gonna go run over to Bonsai really quick and have a discussion over there next. Good. Did I win the lottery? No, I didn't win the lottery. You guys know that my former, what is that all about? Remember when I said I had a busload of people that stopped at my house in Belmore? Here's the busload of people. That would be interesting. I think they're just stopping there. My former career, I was in the video game world, and I designed video games for 20 years, and I did pretty well doing that, and all this cost me way more money than you could possibly imagine, or millions of dollars has been spent here, but it's all worth it, and it is what it is. And we're trying to build something very special here. We want to build something that has never been done before. So, we definitely have a lot of help from a lot of friends, and, it is what it is. And yes, so, yeah, I did not win the lottery though. I have a lot of good friends though. So, that's a good comment, and we should probably put some. So what do you think? We just come to maybe right here, and put some posts there just to. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I actually see the bagel store over by me is a very popular bagel store, and every other week they had a car go through the front glass. I don't know. It's just every other week they have to replace the glass. So they finally put bumpers going around the entire building because they were sick and tired of cars driving into it. So could it happen? Sure. So I guess, yes, we should consider that. Okay. Cool. So we're going to redo this front here, and there definitely will make it look nice, and I'm excited to do that. We may make some adjustments on the positioning of the koi container to make a little bit more space here, but can you turn the water off over there? Turn the water off there and over by the garage. This thing is full, so please. Yeah, both of those. Yeah, there's enough water in there. All right, so let's take a look at what we have going on here. Right? Guys, nothing is running right now, so I just want the pond part is done. The whole front is not done yet. So you can see the spheres are there, the waterfalls. We have literally that from the spheres to the left all the way over to the right is all waterfalls. It looks absolutely amazing. We have the infinity wall edge up here on the front. We still have to do the urns in front, so these still have to get plumbed. This wall here is actually getting pushed in a little bit, and that'll be done. I think we need maybe another day on this, and then we move on to the next project over here. So next week, this whole area will hopefully be worked on, and that's what our plan is. So the next thing that's happening right next to here is we have a gorgeous stairway that's going to go up in this direction, and we have a waterfall that's going to start at the top. It's going to wrap down. It's going to follow the stairway down into a basin right down here. That is what's happening next week. Question. What kind of stone? So it's all moss rock. So moss rock and what's called PA boulder is what we use for the steps, and you can see the types of steps. This is what the steps are going to look like. So nice, big. This is actually more of a field stone. So that's a third type of stone. So we have these here that are going to be going up, following up. So really big, chunky steps going all the way up. And then the stream is going to follow down, and we're actually going to have a couple of points in the pathway where you can cross over that stream. I know not supposed to cross the streams, but we're crossing the stream. You guys don't get that because you've never seen Ghostbusters, but that's okay. All right. Did you sleep last night? Yeah. Can always tell when Michael doesn't sleep. Okay. So, very excited about that. And then we have 2 more ponds going in this area. So we have our pondless going here, so water is going to return from the spot. So there's going to be another basin right here going up to the waterfall that's against that back wall. And then we have 2 more ponds going over here. So if you don't remember from past episodes, how many people are on? 42? Good morning, everyone, if you're just joining us. The idea here is we have a pond that starts at X price point, a price that starts at X price point, and then we have the ultimate pond that has everything on it. And the idea is the customer can come in and they say, I have, this is my budget. Well, this is what we can do for you. They may see something, all right, I want to do this pond size, but I want to add the spheres. So let's add the spheres to this. What is it going to cost me to do that? So the idea here is with the big pond is the big pond has every bell and whistle you could possibly imagine. And you can take different bits and pieces, or you could build that entire thing. Or you could take something from the middle-sized ponds, or you could, and the idea is to just offer the customers a couple of different things. So that's what's happening in this area here. Yes. Huh? They want to see the ponds? Sure. Show them. I mean, right now we're not turning it on, but. So we're going to be doing a big reveal. Once everything is done, we'll show you what it all looks like all running. There's still detail work that has to be done. What was that? It's 7,500 gallons. So lots of little details still need to be done on this. But very happy with the way it's coming out. It's just absolutely amazing. And I have a rock in my shoe. I can't wait for you guys to see it all running. So, one of the cool things we're doing is that rock that's in the middle of the fall there. I think we're going to make like a koi market shield, like what's on the building up there. We'll have a small one made to go right in the middle of that and kind of finish it off. It'll be pretty cool. And then we'll have plenty of aquatic plants covering the whole area. And I can't even tell you how excited I am about the whole thing. We have the pergola going over the brick patio area. That's starting, I think, next week. Yeah, question. No, actually. So Brian talked to us about a couple of ideas, but this is the design here is actually a mixture of myself and the Soundshore team. Okay, the Soundshore team and I have worked on this, but the Soundshore team did an absolutely unbelievable job here. We basically we discussed the ideas that we wanted to have. We wanted to have the spheres. We wanted to have the infinity wall edge. We wanted to have the the large feeding stone. So over here, when you're walking up the steps, you'll have the large feeding stone here, which this goes right over the pond here. And it's actually a cave for the fish. We have multiple caves in the water for the fish too. But we basically, we designed it out, and things changed along the way. The lead on the project did an absolutely fabulous job working with Al, and they came up with an incredible design based on the ideas of what we wanted to have. And this, like I said, was an idea of having every bell and whistle possible, seeing a lot of water movement. We wanted to make sure we had all the aquascape urns and spheres in here, so you can see them in all their glory. So I'm excited that they're here up in front and over there. And yeah, I can't say enough about it. It's just amazing. Okay. Any other questions before we move on? I think we're going to head over to Chris and talk bonsai for a few. Chris worked on a really cool project last week that came out amazing, and he can show that today. So let's take a walk back. So, as you guys know, question. Yes, you can. Why don't you text me at 516-547-0164. Guys, if you want to talk about anything, you want to talk about the fact that Michael and Gabe are currently single and they're looking for a date with someone, they're available. And look at these two guys. Come here, give me the camera. They do not want to be on camera today. All right. They don't want to be on camera. If you would like to talk about anything that's pond related, you want to talk about building a pond, spring openings, fish health, you can reach out to me, 516-547-0164. You can, what? I can't hear you. You can also use what's called our personal koi shopper. It's a personal shopper. It allows you to go to the website, koimarket.com, make a time and a date, and we will actually do a one-on-one FaceTime with you, and we can work through all the issues you have. We can show you all the fish we have available. We can discuss filtration. It's an amazing tool. Please use it. Thank you, Michael, for mentioning that. So go to Koi Market and go to Personal Koi Shopper, and it's super easy to use. You set up a date, you set up a time, and we can meet you there and have a call. We can do a one-on-one live video just like what we're doing now, where you can show us what the issue is, and we can try and troubleshoot and help you fix it. Okay. So, for those of you that are contractors that are on, dealers that are on, Koi Market does wholesale and retail. So it's really important for you to know that we just became a wholesaler for Pond Liner. So if you guys didn't know this, so Firestone sold the company, their liner division, to another company. I think it's called Elevate is the name of the company. Okay, so interestingly, Firestone is no more. So if you're looking for Firestone liner, they want to start. This is going to be a very difficult thing to happen. Is changing the name. I'm looking for Firestone liner. Firestone is just the general term that's used these days for liner. It's like saying, Band-Aid. Like Band-Aid is the term that's used for every Band-Aid. It's just the name that gets used. So the new name for the company, so you can see it right on here, is Elevate Pond Guard. So Firestone is no more. It's the same product, now a different name. So we are now a wholesaler for Pond Guard. We actually just got our first liner shipment in. If you are a contractor on Long Island, reach out to us. We have amazing pricing. If you're looking for a liner, we want to talk to you. So, excellent. So we're going to come over here to the old bonsai house because we are moving the bonsai house over. Chris is here. And hold on one second because Colin's not supposed to be on camera. All right. So Chris is here. And good morning. So Chris was upset with me because last week he thought we were going to come in here because he worked on something really cool, which he's going to show you today. Chris, if you want to, you can just put it around you. Anyway, you will.
So complicated you make things.
You know what? I'm trying to find one that's just the boom mic without all the other crap, and I couldn't find anything. That was, yeah. Well, this works. It works well. So, guys, this is Chris Hayes. Bonsai Chris is what he's known as.
I like Bonsai Chris.
Huh?
I like Bonsai Chris.
Bonsai Chris is what he's known as. So, if you guys are looking for Bonsai Chris, if you have questions about for Bonsai Chris, which Michael Adrian just had a question, he asked, does Chris do house calls?
Chris could do house calls if it's within a reasonable amount of distance.
Yeah, so Chris actually, has another job, that pays all the bills, and that job actually.
Well, it used to pay all the bills, but
anyway, that job causes him to be in his vehicle for very long periods of time. So being in the car for a longer period of time, he's trying to keep it close to the vicinity of where he lives and where.
Well, within reason, I still can drive a distance. And if any questions, you could always reach me. We could talk about it, FaceTime first or something like that, or you could always come to the shop. I have a bunch of people coming here today. I got to do some repotting for a client and some other stuff, so we're pretty flexible.
So Chris, how can they reach you?
That's a good question. I don't know because I'm not giving out my phone number on a live stream. Only you do stuff like that.
I do.
So
because I don't care.
You could contact Sean, and Sean will give you my number privately, and then we could talk.
You can reach me at 516. I'm giving out. You guys want?
This is why Sean gets all the spam stuff because he gives out his number on
You can reach me at 516-547-0164, and I will give you Chris's information, and you can reach out to Chris from there.
He's going to get 9,000 spams.
We do have an email for you that was created for you, which I'm sure you don't remember, which is on the business card that you probably don't have.
I don't have a wallet on me. I actually don't remember the email.
We're going to put some business cards over there.
No, because they're tearing all this down, so you should put them in the other greenhouse. Other greenhouse.
One day we will do that.
Yes.
We do need to go over some greenhouse stuff after the show.
Excellent.
I want to talk to you about the pergola area.
You haven't even started the show. How long is this going to go on for?
And the electricians want to talk to you, so make sure that you talk to them before they leave.
Yeah.
That's really important. So, if you need to reach Chris, just reach out to me, 516-547-0164. And Chris is working on a bunch of cool things.
Always working on cool things in here.
So what do you got going on? This is the time of year that you're doing what?
Repotting, some basic styling work, getting stuff ready for the retail environments, going over just seeing what I need for inventory, making things look pretty, shining up the pots so they're not dusty, all that good stuff. Mixing up soil. I just mixed up a giant batch of soil today, so I have extra soil for repots.
And Chris, you have a retail store here where you sell bonsai
We
stuff?
do have a retail store here where we sell bonsai stuff. Feel free to come down. We sell soil, tools, supplies, some higher end pots, some lower end pots, some medium end pots, a little bit of everything. And advice is free, so if you want to come down and ask me any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
And you're going to be doing classes soon?
Yes, we're going to be doing some classes soon. We'll probably start with the repotting class, going on to some styling and some healthcare classes and stuff like that. I'm trying to work out what I think would be some fun classes, and then we'll do that. That'll be posted, and I'm sure Sean will talk about it on his live stream. And everyone's welcome to come. Some of them will probably be a fee involved, and some of them will just be me babbling for a few hours if you choose to come listen.
I happened to be on Facebook the other day, and I came across a screenshot of you. It looked like you were teaching a class somewhere.
It was I was talking at my bonsai club at the Long Island Bonsai Society, which is at Planting Fields Arboretum. It's a pretty good club, a lot of good people. I was introducing a lecturer, and we were talking about some bonsai stuff. So Sean saw that picture. I still don't know where you found that picture. How like that randomly found that picture, but yep, I'm very active in my bonsai club. I'm playing the drums on my little turntable.
So this is actually something. So Chris is a multi-talented individual. He's what I would call a jack of all trades.
I'm a jack, all right.
One of the things he does is he fabricates things, fabricates lots of stuff, and he actually fabricated this stand here. Show him what you got here.
Little bonsai turntable. You can unlock it. You can spin it so you could work on your trees.
The whole idea here is to not handle the tree. So you're not spinning around fence and breaking the branch. You're putting it on the table and you're spinning the table around, and you're basically working the tree a very different way by spinning it around.
I also made some interesting alien-like hanging pots that I'm going to plant some maples in. There's a couple of them already there that are kind of starting their thing. Yeah, I want to do some different stuff, some interesting things. Kind of keeps it, doesn't make it stagnant for me. I like to do different stuff.
What are you going to plant in these year?
Succulents. I drilled them out.
All right. So
I got these at a store, like at a reasonable price. They're kind of cool. Drilled out a hole because nobody wants to plant anything in a planter that just fills with water. And we're going to put some succulents in here, and they'll be available in the spring.
So let's talk about that because we're not just doing bonsai; we're also doing succulents.
Yeah, we're doing aquatic plants, succulents, bonsai, anything that tickles my fancy that week. We're going to do Japanese moss balls. The name is eluding me right now. I'm at a loss right now because I can't remember everything all at once. But we're going to do it's a K. It's I can't think of the actual given name. But we're going to do stuff like that. I also have like little. I'll show you some other little pieces of lava rock that I drill out and make pots out of them. So they're more of like a natural looking thing. You could either for indoor or outdoor. So I'll be planting some of that stuff. A little bit of everything.
You have some pieces where it's a type of bonsai where you actually have the tree growing over some stone. What is that called?
Root over rock.
Root over rock.
Pretty simple.
Japanese.
Root over rock. Yes. So root over rock.
Okay.
There's terms for other stuff, but not that. That's just a simple root over rock.
We can actually show
and I also made, there's another. This is like a slab planting pot that I made. I added a little foot here. So that's drilled out and ready for a pine to be planted on it. So that'll be cool. When I get to that, I'm waiting for the pines aren't ready to be repotted yet. So this will be a little bit before that gets used, but that's another fun thing I was working on.
So there's different types of pots. A pot doesn't necessarily have to be a traditional style pot. It could be something more open, like what you just
slab
said,
planting.
A slab.
That's a slab. This is a handmade slab. It's made out of clay. But that's a slab planting where you could put a tree on there and you'd have to put it's called a mud. You would use muck, which is a mud that would build up a rim around it to keep the soil retained.
Dreidel.
Yes, a better example will be what Sean started this whole conversation about was what I did last weekend, which is a slab planting. If you want to come over here, either you love them or you hate them. But this is a dawn redwood forest planted on a slab. So this is just a big piece of stone, organic material. I build a muck ring around it, and I, planted all these trees on it. This is just dried moss to keep it moist for a while, and then eventually real moss will overtake it and grow over it, so you'll have a nice green base. You can see I did add some real live moss and some ogon and some dwarf plants to accentuate it. So it looks like something that would occur in nature. It's just budding out now, so in the spring when it's really popped out, we'll show this again. It'll be filled out, it'll be green, it'll look like a medieval forest I hope.
One of your biggest.
This is the biggest one. Yeah, this is the biggest we've done here. And then we have smaller ones we've done. I did these on the floor. These are forests as well, in more of a traditional pot. They're all dawn redwoods. These were prepped over like the last 2 years so that they can eventually go into a forest pot setting.
So if you guys have any questions or Chris while we're doing,
and this is one of those funky rock pots that I was doing where I got a maple growing out of it. Eventually, I'll style this maple so that it comes around. This is just the initial putting it in, getting it growing. Same thing with this. This is going to be a cascading down, but I have to wait till it settles and it's happy in the pot. And then everything else is now very happy for the season. Things are starting to grow. Things are starting to look green. It's one of my favorite times of the year.
You have a root over rock example?
It's not the greatest one. It's the one we showed last week. It's on like the wrong side for it. Let me see if I got a better one. Oh, they're both on the other side, so we'll have to go to the other side.
All right, so
You love root over rock lately. We got a lot of, so we have some beginner stuff. We got Procumbens nanas. I threw a little bit of a style on some of these, put them in pots for the beginner, so that, you can get acquainted with the art of bonsai and not worry if you kill it. We have some more advanced stuff over here, like red pines, ponderosa pines that are collected. This is a Japanese white pine. This tree was straight as an arrow. We severely bent it, so now it's got a nice shape going on. I have some pines in training that I'm going to wire these up soon. What else do we got over here? We got some. It's chochabai season, so these quinces are starting to flower. They're quite pretty. So I have these were cuttings last year that I did. So I just rooted them in the pot, so I'll have a lot more.
You mentioned 2 weeks ago you had something that was going to be budding. Did that already happen?
That's the quinces and the chochabai. They're just starting to right now, so we're early still. I just potted these up. These are a type of contorted cherries. These will flower at some point as well. Woo. That is an experiment. That is an untraditional bonsai, and it is, I always forget the name of this thing. It's a cascading exocordia. It's got these really cool white flowers that form a star-like seed cluster when they're done. This tree was really big. You can see these are the flowers starting to come out. I cut this way back, because I like the base and I like the movement. So now we're going to see what we can do with it as far as a bonsai goes. I thought it was something interesting to look at. It's different. I like different stuff. I think I've talked about that on the show before. I also love traditional bonsai, but I like some stuff that's a little off the beaten path, and that's a little off the beaten path. So I think it'll be a fun tree. When it fills up, it'll be cool. I mean, this was a much bigger shrub, so I'm pretty excited about that one.
A lot of these are
that's the flower. No, that's the flowers. They will grow and hang over. And then you can see the branches that were going. We bent them and shaped them. So we'll see. This is the first styling. It's rough. We'll see where it goes. I'm excited about that one. Chinese flowering quince. This will flower as well with beautiful pink flowers. I have lots of little azaleas. I have little azaleas up here of all different varieties. These are imported from Japan. A buddy of mine imports trees, so I have more than just this, but these are some that are here that are available. We have some larger azaleas, like this guy over here. I got some crab apples that we potted up this year, some beginner style trees, some crab apples. Those will have nice pretty pink flowers. Trying to see. That's the ume and the apricots are that one. The Chinese quince? Or which one? I can't see it. It's probably this one. This one's a Chinese. This one's 745 for the big one. And then I have some small ones which we're going to take care of, but something like this. Something like that is Oh, those are cuttings. Those I haven't potted up yet. I don't know yet until I pull them out of. There's like 12 of them. Like yeah. So here's like an example. That's a cluster of them that has to be broken apart. I'm just growing them out, and then I'll make trees out of them. Like whenever I trim, and there's a really good example over here. Whenever I trim a parent plant, especially on the quinces and the chochabai, you never want to throw anything out. So those are all, I stuck all of these. I did a little rooting hormone. I stick them all, and then I'll grow them out, and I'll get that many individual trees. So I will break these apart, and when I do, I'll let you know. But right now they're still rooting up, so we're not breaking them apart just yet. I do have a few here and there that I'd have to. If you were in here, you'd see there's a lot. So I'd have to dig them out and figure out where they are, but I do have a few that are probably ready for retail. I'll have to dig them out. I'd have to look because they're not in flower yet. When they flower, you notice them right away. When they're not in flower, they're hard to find. Trying to see if there's any on this side that are flowering just yet because the temperature just changed. So I would think by next week I'll have a bunch with quite a few clusters of flowers, which I don't see any right now, but they're getting there. We got held back a little. I thought it was going to be warmer the last couple of weeks were windy and rainy. So I am about a week held back from where I thought we would be. Like here's one. This is going to flower, this one. I believe that's a red one. You could see the little flowers starting to push on that one. But this was a little something I stuck a few years ago, and I'm growing it out.
You talk about if there's anything you see during this that you're interested in, let me know.
I could do that. Most of the stuff is priced, unless it was something recently potted. Then I wait about a month to make sure that it's happy and healthy. Then I'll price it and put it out on the bench because I don't like to sell stuff that I'm not sure of the condition. So I only sell stuff that I know is healthy and good. I don't want anyone to be unhappy and come back and be mad at me. That's no fun. Oh, well, I got one. This one's not for sale because this one I just did. But yeah, this is an orange flowering quince. I want to grow this out and see what happens. This was dug up from landscape, but they're going to flower next week. This will be in full flower. Every one of these little balls is a flower. So this will be entirely encased in these beautiful orange flowers. I'm not sure if it's a quince or a chochabai, this one. I won't know until it grows out more. I'm leaning more towards the fact that it's a regular Chinese quince, but I'll see when the branches come out. But this was dug up from my father's backyard. It was growing in a corner for years, and then I finally said I'm going to make a bonsai out of that. So that's a pretty cool one. Yep, got the red. These are from the leftover from last year. They turn a bright red. I always forget the name of that species. But that's another experiment. I think that'll be a cool bonsai too. I'm going to make that like somewhat of a cascade. Should be fun. And I think our pine outside it looks like it's starting to go green, so that's good. Yeah. These were dug up. These are definitely doing well. These were in the front of Sean's property, and then they dug them up last year, and this is all new growth, so they've survived. So we're going to bonsai those too. It is a type of dwarf hinoki, which is not that common. So that's kind of why I saved them. And then for everyone, a while ago, we had talked about this tree. And it actually is doing pretty well. It's not losing needles. I believe it made it through the winter, even though it was dug up at completely the wrong time. But this will eventually get styled into a massive bonsai. It's got a few split branches from when we took it out, but I think it's going to be a pretty amazing specimen once it's done.
So you managed to...
I think it lived, because it's turning it... See the color is changing? It's going darker green now?
Yeah.
Which means that it's circulating. The vascular system is working again. So I think it lived, which I'm pretty excited about, because it would have been... Yeah, we didn't have a harsh winter, so it did pretty well. But this, it's hard to... I mean, you can kind of see me standing next to it to get the scope of this tree. So it's going to be quite a massive bonsai. The trunk in the middle is about this big. So it's going to be pretty awesome once it gets styled. A friend of mine, Mauro Stemberger, is the guy that I'm going to have style this because he loves doing giant trees, and he saw this and really liked it. So I think this is going to be a couple-year process, so you guys can follow me through that process over the next couple of years, and it'll be real cool.
You can actually, on the website, we can create
We could, as this goes, because this is going to be a process. We're going to have, the initial will be a cutback to thin it out, and then there'll be another styling, then there'll be another styling after that, so that's at least 3 years out from what it might potentially look like. So I'm pretty excited about this one.
It's amazing. I mean, you're planning years and years and years of the progress and work that has to be done. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Can you hear him?
I was just saying, it's amazing when you're planning literally years in advance the things that have to get done, the amount of stylings that have to get done for this tree, and the tree will never be done.
It's never a tree. Yeah, even though you call them finished trees, they're never finished. They're always in progression. Because just like a living thing, they grow, and you have to change. It changes all the time, so you got to stay up on it, keep things looking nice. I love it. It's fun. That's the thing.
Do you guys have
any questions for me or anything? I would hope to see some of you come down to the shop and check everything out when it's done, because it's going to be pretty amazing when we're finished with it. I know Sean prides himself on making his place a destination. I also am the same. I like things neat and looking cool and things for people to just look at, not necessarily to buy everything, but to see things that are cool and different. I always like going to places like that, and I kind of want to do that here. So you'll be like, oh, that's really interesting. Like, I'm into that. So I think it's going to be a cool and a fun place to come check out.
And the new bonsai house.
New bonsai house is going to be huge. So probably next week there'll be something to look at over there.
We're supposed to start,
yeah. So there'll be something to look at. Are we going to call him or come in here? All right, we'll talk later about that. So I'm excited. I'll come in. I'm excited. The new chapter in what's going on here. So it's going to be pretty cool.
All right. We're going to go do some fish now.
Woo! Bye, everybody.
How many people are on?
3.
38. Hi, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. So
Next week, there'll be flowers.
it got really cold out. It's a bit warmer in here. Okay. So we will potentially be doing these are some tropical bonsai in here, actually. You can see these guys. This one's doing much better than this one. This one lost a couple of leaves along the way. We actually had a restaurant in New York City that was looking at this one. A new Korean restaurant, I think. I'm not sure if they're getting it or not, but Chris will eventually be doing his own separate bonsai show. That's has to be planned out, but that is something that's going to be in the works. We're excited about that, and he'll start promoting that as soon as we have some more. We got to wait for the new koi house to get done, but we're going to jump into the fish portion, and I wanted to talk about a couple of things here. So, Michael, you guys know Michael. Michael's been with me for a long time. He had gotten some calls from some customers that didn't want us to, they were concerned that we were doing too much auction. So I just want to hear from you guys. You know, we kind of been going back and forth a little bit. We've added a lot more of the auction-based, way of selling, to the show in the last month. And, you know, quite honestly, it's been going pretty well. Previously to that, we basically gave a price, and the first person to say yes, you know, got that price. I'd like to, we'll just mix it up, I think, is what we're going to do, is we'll just try and do like a 50-50 mix of doing both. If you guys have any comments about it, please let me know. I also, if there's someone new on the show, if you haven't been here, please just say hi, like, say who you are. I'm here for the first time. We definitely want to know who you are. We always like to know who is new on the show and how you found us. So thank you. I wanted to go over a couple of other things. So as usual, we have, free shipping when you spend $650 or more on Southwest Cargo. Okay. Packaging it's $15 for packaging the fish, so that covers the package, the box, the bags, the stickers, the tape, everything that goes along with that. We have and us having to drive to the airport with the box, and we also have insurance. So if you're doing it on Southwest Cargo, it's $1 per $100 spent, and on FedEx, Michael, is it still $250 or did that change? Okay, and for FedEx, insurance is $250 for $100. That's $2.50 per $100 spent. You got a question? When it comes to shipping, Southwest Cargo, as I said, we do, if you spend $650 or more, we'll ship for free. Otherwise, shipping is around the 125 to 150 per box. When it comes to door with FedEx, that's something that we'll have to discuss based on what fish you're getting. You're getting a small fish in a small box. Obviously, it's going to be a different weight, different size than it's going to be for a big fish in a big box. So that price is definitely much more expensive. FedEx is not cheap doing door to door, and you also have to get the insurance for that. We also have free boarding and free layaway. So when I say free boarding, we will hold the fish until you're ready to ship. Now, if we're holding fish for you guys, if we're holding fish for you and you're ready to have your fish shipped, you need to let me know. Send me a text, and I'll send you over to Michael, and Michael and you will work on a shipping date that works best for everyone to get your fish shipped to you. So if you're ready to have your fish shipped, you just need to let me know. What else? We have free layaway. So if you do want to put a fish on layaway, you have to pay that fish off on a monthly basis of equal installments. So if your fish is $1,000 and you have 2 months left before your fish ships, and I need a $500 payment within 2 days, within 2 days of you saying yes to buying the fish, and then your second payment will be made the following month. We will not ship any fish unless all payments are made. So if you have fish on layaway right now, make sure that you're up to speed on your payments. If you're not, then that's definitely an issue. Everyone has to make sure that they're paying on a monthly basis. If you have not checked your invoices or you're not getting an invoice, please reach out to me and let me know. We'll make sure that you get an updated invoice. Every time you guys send a payment, it gets taken off of what your existing payment is. So it's always a running total, so you can see how much your payments are going down as the process goes. Okay, so we are going to start with some fish, and Michael and Gabe took some time and picked some fish ahead of time. What did you have for us, Michael? You want to start with Kase? All right, we're going to start with some fish from Kase. I'm going to put the bowl over here. Do you want to have the overhead? You just want to bring it in afterwards? Okay. So we have some fish from Kase. Definitely a big fan. We did these as auction, so I'm going to continue to do these as auction. I'm going to move this over to here, just so I can give me a couple of seconds, guys, while I pull these. We have a good mix of fish here. Just get a little bit more water. I think that's enough to start. Okay, guys. Here is the white net. Where's the other white net that we usually use? Huh. Okay. I got my handy dandy gavel. How are you? Good to see you. I got my handy dandy gavel, and we have some fish in the bowl from KARASU. We're just doing a live show, but good to see you. Things are good? Excellent, excellent. Cool. Excellent. So we have some fish in the bowl here. These are from KARASU Koi Farm. We have Deutsche Showa in here, Deutsche Ochiba, sorry. Deutsche Ochiba in here. We have Ochiba. We have some Aragoki scaled, which is large scaled Deutsch. I have some Deutsche Showa in here. I have some Hiutsuri, Genrin Hiutsuri. We have, let's see, a Genrin Hiutsuri in here. I see Saragoi. So there's a couple of things going on in here. So lots of cool stuff. I see it's a Genrin Matsu Kawabaki here. Really nice Deutsche Ochiba here. Nice dark chocolate Deutsche Ochiba. Here's a Aragoki scale. This is large scale. And, alright, so we're gonna get going here. So let's talk about this for a second. So, as we do the show, okay, we're gonna do a mix of raffling fish as well as giving a number. So when we're giving just a standard number, it's the first person to say yes. When we're doing I keep saying raffle. When we're doing the auction, it's going to be, if you're interested, you need to say what price, you're at. So if I say the price starts at $150, then you say, the first person say $150. And then the next person would say $160 or $170. If you're new to the show, I'm just making sure you understand this. And, any questions before we get started? No? Alright. Where are we starting, Michael? We're gonna start with this Aragoki large-scaled Deutsche Ochiba. And we're opening this up. Michael, these are selling for two. So I'm gonna open up the bidding on this one at $175. So we have our first, there's a Deutsche Ochiba, and guys, this is the perfect time to start putting your collection together for your ponds. So we're excited that you guys are opening your ponds, and again, if you have questions about your opening, anything that you need to do, if you want to do prophylactic treatments on your pond, we're here to help you. We can definitely walk you through that. We have our new Koi Farmer line that can help you. These fish, can start shipping. If your pond is in the 60s, you can start getting your fish. So, Jane Danicus is at 175. We have an Aragoki scale, Deutsche Ochiba. Jane is the first bidder at 175. Do we have 185? We're at 175 looking for 185. And he just escaped me. We're at 175 looking for 185. If you're just joining the show, welcome. We're at the koi portion of the show. We did a lot of things this morning. We talked about spring openings. We showed you the progress that's happening at the store, and lots of things are happening. The Sound Shore team is doing an amazing, amazing job. I just can't say enough about how amazing, the first of the 3 ponds looks. It's just stunning. So we're at 175, looking for 185. Jane was the first bidder. We have 185, 175 going once. $175 going twice. It's a bit active. Anyone else chiming in here? Sold for 175 to Jane. Thank you, Jane. Next. We have, I just saw a unique Kiryu. Kiryu, Michael? Come on, you. Thank you, Kiryu. Gorgeous fish. Going for 175 opening bid. Now, you know what? I'm going to start the bidding on this one at 160. $160 opening bid. So we have our first bidder. Opening bid is $160. Gorgeous. It's about 10 inches plus. Looks like I have a bid there of 160 from William. And then we have, who else chimed in? Mike, you're going to have to one-up it. We're currently at 160. We're looking for 170, 175. We're at 160 right now. Very gorgeous fish. Super, super black. Hey Joe, how's it going, buddy? We're at 160, looking for 170, 175. We have our next number in. Ancho Kujaku there. We are looking for 170, 175. We're at $160. We have our next bidder. Currently at 160. Mike, did you want to put in another bid? Yeah, Joseph joining us. Welcome, Joseph. Oh, there's another Aragoki just jumped into the net there. We are currently at 160, looking for 170, 175. Do we have our next bidder? Mike, looking for another bid from you. We're at $160 going once. I'm glad the comments are working today. We're not working last week. Oh, it's weird. You know, it's not like we're changing anything that we do, but just sometimes it just doesn't work. We have 160 going twice. Mike, did you want to get another bid? You have one more chance. We're sold at 160. You got a good picture? Okay, so we have a new customer. So who's in? William. So William, we are going to need you to text me since you are a new customer. William, I need you to text me your full name, address, email address, and I'll have your phone number when you text me, to 516-547-0164. I need you to text me right now. What was that? That's Katrina? Okay. Okay, so we already have our info. Alright. We got your info, Katrina, so all good. Next. Next. I'm doing this, you know, because it's just unique. This is a Deutsch Saragoy. So scaleless Saragoy, Deutsch Saragoy. So this fish is going to be pretty cool when it's just a giant silver Deutsch. Really cool. I'm going to start the bidding at 150. Bidding is starting at 150 on this Deutsch Saragoy. We have an opening bid of 150. We have our first bidder. And he escaped, so come back. We are looking for 150. We have our first bidder for this Deutsch Saragoy. So scaleless Saragoy, you guys know the history of the Deutsch. I don't know if you want me to tell you that story again. I've told it a couple of times. What size are these guys? Okay, so they're anywhere from 9 inches to 11 inches. This Deutsch Saragoy right here is roughly 9.5, 10 inches. We open the bid at 150, looking for 150. The steal for this fish. What do we got? Love this fish. Yeah, this is a great fish. I mean, Deutsch Saragoy, when this fish gets big, this fish is going to be awesome. Very, very cool. Love this fish. Opening bid is $150, guys. I went lower on this one. Just want everyone to have a chance. The opening bid is $150. Do we have $150? We are looking for $150. I hope you guys are excited that the ponding season is finally upon us. I know I'm ecstatic. I'm so excited that we're finally here. There's so much going on. Lots of things at the store. Lots of things are happening. Yeah, this is going to be a really awesome year. Do we have our opening bid? We have $150 opening bid. Do we have anyone? If not, then that's okay. But I'd be shocked if someone doesn't take this fish as a steal at $150. All right, I'm gonna move on. All right, come back to me if you're interested. Okay, Deutsch Chiba. We have our Deutsch Chiba here. Again, we'll open the bid at $150. We're at $150. These guys are selling for $200 at the store. We're opening the bid at $150. Do we have our first bidder at $150? Deutsch Chiba. Nice pattern. The brown and Ochiba is, what do you got? Okay. I got you, Scott. I mean, we're doing our best to move as quickly as possible. I can only go as fast as I can go, so we will do our best to go faster. We have our Deutsch Chiba here. Opening bid is $150. Looking for our first bidder. $150 for this Deutsch Chiba. Do we have our first buyer? We have $150. $150 going once. $150 is the opening bid, guys. I mean, whether we did it as a static price or we do it as an opening bid price, you guys got to tell me what you're interested in. If there's something in the bowl that you want to see, let me know. So I'm just randomly picking fish like we usually do. We'll pick another fish. I got a Ginrin Miyutsuri. Again, opening price $150. Very cool fish. Like it has one orange and one black pectoral. Has a nice balanced pattern. Opening $150. We have a first bid looking for $150. We currently have 36 people on. Looking for an opening bid of $150. Hi Tina, thanks for joining. Very nice Ginrin Hiyutsuri. Looking for $150 opening bid. Guys are a little quiet today. What was that? Alyssa is at 150. Good choice, Alyssa. Alyssa. Okay, thank you, Alyssa. We're at 150, looking for 160. 175. We got 150 going once. We'll try and move things along. 150 going once. $150 going twice. Sold at 150 to Alyssa. Next. So this one is pretty rare here. Does have a bit more sumi, but this is a Deutz, like a Deutz Hiyutsuri here. This is a Deutz Hiyutsuri. Or it could be a Benikiko, but what do you think, Michael? We'll go with Deutz Hiyutsuri, something that I've probably only seen a handful of times. A Deutz Hiyutsuri opening bid is $150. I don't know if I've actually ever, maybe I've seen a few, a handful of Deutz Hiyutsuris. So it looks non-metallic, so I'm going to go with Deutz Hiyutsuri versus Benikiko. $150 is the opening bid on this Deutz, this rare Deutz Hiyutsuri. Do we have $150? Definitely a unique fish. Scaleless Deutz. The Sumi Black is black like ink. A Deutz Hiyutsuri is definitely not something you see coming up every day. Do we have $150? Opening bid is $150. Looking for $150, guys. Definitely a unique fish. We're going once. We're at $150. Deutz Hiyutsuri going twice. Alright. I'm going to move on. If you see something in the bowl you're interested in, let me know, guys. We have another Aragoki here. Here's another Aragoki Deutz Ochiba. Check that one out. Aragoki large scale. You guys have been asking for Aragoki. We don't have many. But Aragoki large scale Deutz Ochiba, opening bid is $150. We have our first bidder. We're looking for an opening bid of 150. Do we have our first bidder? I'm looking for my next fish as I'm talking to you guys. We have our bidder of $150 for this Doitso Chiba. Aragoki Doitso Chiba. This is from Kase Koi Farm. Fish is about 9.5 inches. $150 opening bid. These fish are selling for $200 in the store, and the store, it's still too cold. I mean, we haven't even sold any fish to our local customers yet. You guys are getting first dibs on all these fish. What was that? So it has a little bit of Ginrin in the pectoral scales. Definitely a unique fish. So we have a $150 opening bid. See some new people joining. We have 44 people on. It definitely has a little bit of Ginrin only in the pectoral scales. Aragoki, large scale, really kind of jumped on the scene in the last couple of years. Do we have an opening bid of $150? We have a couple of people joining in. Welcome. Thank you for joining. We have it. Aragoki, big scale, Doitso Chiba from Kase Koi Farm. So there is. You can see some right there. And so it balances out the pattern a little bit. All right, we're going to move on. So we have $150 going once. We're looking for an opening bid of $150, guys. Aragoki, large scale, Doitso Chiba. Going twice. What was that? All right. Guys, if you see something in the show that doesn't get sold, you can always reach out to me after the show. You can reach me at 516-547-0164. I'm going to move on to another fish. Guys are quiet today. Take a look at this bowl. Let me know if there's something you see. Here is a Ginrin He Showa. Let's say Showa because the belly is white on this. This is not a huge series of Ginrin He Showa. Very cool fish. Okay. I have no shiro in here, do I? I don't see a shiro in here. Lorna, I'll get back to you on that. Right now I have this gorgeous Ginrin He Showa. So it's primarily Benny red. Opening bid $150. We're looking for $150 on this fish. What's up, Anthony? How's it going, Jose? Thanks for joining. We have 48 on. Very nice. Ginrin He Showa. Opening bid of $150. We have $150. Guys, I could just say every fish in this bowl is $150 each. We can go that route. Whatever route you want to go, we can go. We'll switch things around. We'll take this fish. I'll take this Doitso Chiba right here. If he wants to come in. It's a very unique pattern Doitso Chiba who's jumping around. And I can't even get him into the net. And we will take this Deutsch Showa right here. Alright, I got 3 fish in the net here. We have Ginrin He Showa, a really unique pattern, Doitso Chiba. Very unique pattern. It looks like he's got just basically a cool saddle. And then I have a Deutsch Showa, which is, this is all coming up here. This is all sumi that's coming up. There's going to be a very nice Deutsch Showa. Okay? number 1, number 2, and number 3. They're $150 each. Number 1, number 2 is the Ochiba, number 3 is the Hishowa. Number 1 is the Deutsch Showa, number 2, and number 3 is the Hishowa. These guys switch their position, number 1, 2, or 3, at $150 each. Do we have a buyer? Number 1, 2, or 3. Number 1, Deutsch Showa. Number 2 is the Deutsch Ochiba. Number 3 is the, did I get those numbers right, or I already messed them up? Number 3. Okay. Now I don't remember what they were, because they all got switched around. So number 1 was the Deutsch Showa. Number 2, I believe, was the Ochiba, and number 3 was the Hishowa. Okay, number 1, number 2, and number 3. Number 1 was who? Angelo, the Deutsch Ochiba, the Deutsch Showa, just making sure. Is this the one you want? Angelo, number 1. Deutsch Showa, number 1. Just verify for us, please. This is going to be a gorgeous fish. It's $150. Angelo, can you please verify? Okay, so Kevin was first. I believe number 3 was the Hishowa. So Kevin, verify Hishowa, and Angelo, verify the Deutsch Ochiba. I seem to remember the Deutsch Ochiba was in the middle, so. Just need some feedback from you guys. Number 1, Deutsch Showa. Number 2, Ochiba. Number 3 is the Hishowa. They're $150 each. All right. Well, listen, I can't remember everything. In fact, I forgot what I did 5 minutes ago. So, Kevin, if you could let me know exactly which fish you wanted, not just the number. The numbering I'm putting on these fish right now. Okay, number 1, Deutsch Showa. Number 2, Deutsch Ochiba. Number 3, Ginrin Hiyutsuri. Ginrin Hishowa. Sorry. Number 1, Deutsch Showa. Number 2, Ochiba. Okay. So number 1, this is the Deutsch Showa right here. Okay, Kevin, you're taking number 1. You are the first person. Okay. Good? Okay. Okay, Kevin, this is yours right here. I'm taking this Deutsch Ochiba out for a second so I can move this. Deutsch Ochiba. Go ahead. Good. You know who that was for? Okay. Angelo, I don't know which fish you wanted, Angelo. We didn't hear back from you? Or what? Okay, so Kevin had, sorry, we did hear back, or did Angelo say anything else? But Kevin had said it first. Okay. I'm not exactly sure what's taking place. I don't see the screen. This is the only one left from that batch. I'm going to add 2 more fish to this. We have a Tancho Kujaku. Keep the show it out for now. And I'm going to put the, what is that Aragoki? Didn't we have that in the Aragoki left? We'll bring that Aragoki back into the picture here. Okay, I have 3 fish here. I have number 1 is the Aragoki. Number 2 is the Tancho. Number 3 is the Hishoa. Number 1, Aragoki. Number 2 is the Tancho Kujaku. Number 3 is the Hishoa. What? Who said that? All right, I will try and keep track. Number 1, number 2 is the Tancho. Number 3 is the Hishoa. Number 1, Aragoki. Number 2 is the Tancho. Number 3 is the Hishoa. I tried going the other way, and that didn't seem to be going so well, so we tried it this way instead. So number 1 is the Aragoki. Number 2 is the Tancho. Number 3 is the Hishoa. Do we have any takers on 1, 2, or 3? Good morning if you're just joining us. Number 1, Aragoki. Number 2 is the Tancho Kujaku. Number 3 is the Ginrin Hishoa. Do we have any takers on 1, 2, or 3? So the Aragoki is actually a Kuchi Beni, so he's got on the lips, which is like lipstick. So number 1, Aragoki. Number 2 is the Tancho. Number 3 is the Ginrin Hishoa. They're $1.50 each. Do we have any takers on any of these fish? Number 1, number 2, or number 3? Number 1, number 2, or number 3? Number 1, number 2, or number 3? Alright, we're going to move on in a couple of seconds, guys. Number 1, Aragoki. Number 2, Tantra. Number 3 is the Hishoa. Give it another couple of seconds. And then we're moving on. And no takers on any? Alright, we're going to move on. Okay. We have a different Ginrin Showa here I really like. I like that Ginrin Showa. And we have a cool Deutsch Showa here. And we need something else that's different than everything else. We'll do this large, here's a larger Deutsch Saragoi. Okay. So, number 1 is the Ginrin Showa. Number 2 is the Deutsch Saragoi, and number 3 is the Deutsch Showa. Number 1 is the Ginrin Showa. Number 2 is the Deutsch Saragoi. Number 3 is the Deutsch Showa. Do we have any takers on 1, 2, or 3? They're $1.50 each. Number 1, Ginrin Showa. Number 2, a larger Deutsch Saragoi. We have 2 Deutsch Saragoi in here. This is the larger one. And this is a Deutsch Showa. Any takers on 1, 2, or 3? I love Saragoi. Number 1, Ginrin Showa. Number 2, Deutsch Saragoi. Number 3, Deutsch Showa. Any takers on 1, 2, or 3? Definitely a much more quiet day today. There's 41 on. Maybe we're just going to move to some different fish. Number 1, Ginrin Showa. Number 2, Deutsch Saragoi. Number 3 is the Deutsch Showa. Another couple of seconds, guys. Alright, we're moving on. So, guys, I'll give you a couple of seconds to look in this bowl. If you don't see anything in this bowl, we're going to put all these back. Michael, if you grab the side of the bowl with me, we'll put them in there. Or I can put them back in the koi sock. We're going to put these guys back. Come on, guys. Guys picked some nice fish, but there's still a lot of gorgeous fish that didn't get picked. So really surprised, but that's okay. If there's something you saw in the show that you're interested in, guys, let me know. We're going to put these, we put them back in a holding cage for the weekend. So in case you come back, we know where it is. More, and more. Okay. So we're going to go to something else. Okay. We're going to dump that bowl. I'm going to go over here. It was mentioned Shiro Utsuri. So I'm going to go look for some Shiro Utsuri. Just give me a second. I mean, I have those other Shiro Utsuri in there. We can go for those, I guess. How many of those do we have? 4? I'll go for these. Not that one? Nah, I'm sure. Here, grab this bowl for me. Okay. We generally don't like to do one color fish in the show, guys, because it's too difficult to pull them out and pick them out from the other fish that are also one color. So we're just going to do the Shiro. I'm not going to do the platinums. It's just too difficult. Give me a second here. Just picking out some Shiros. It's going to take me a couple of seconds here. These Shiros are $100 each. These are from Yamacho Koi Farm. They're always jumping, always. What? Oh, really? That figures. Michael, can you put these guys in just so that people have something to see while I'm looking? Here's a very nice one. Guys, these Shiros are from Yamato Koi Farm. They are $100 each. I think that's it. I mean, if everyone's getting excited about churros, we'll do some more, but that's a good start. These are $100 each, guys. Some very nice churro. There's the first one. Do we have any tickets on the first one? $100 each.
Okay.
These guys are the biggest. These guys are about 7 to 8 inches. I have one that's a little bit bigger. It's about 9 inches. Very nice. Sumi, black. The Shiroji is also very, very white. Here's our first one, going for $100. We have our first buyer. They're $100 each. Definitely a great buy. Huh? Jane Danikas. So Jane, they're $100 each. Jane, you're taking this one? Okay, I see it. These are $100 each. Okay, the one with the black dot on the nose. Just making sure this is the one you're referring to because I do see more than one. But let me know if this is the one you're talking about. These are from Yamacho Koi Farm. They are $100 each. Churro. Okay. Thank you. Good. Next. Definitely a bunch of really nice ones in here. Go for the larger one. They're $100 each. What does that say, Michael? Okay. Okay. Black, not completely on the face. Was it one of these two? Or one of these three? Let me know if it's in the net. The first two were not it. Okay, so. Alright, well, I don't remember what the first one was, so I believe it's this one then. Is that correct, Lorna? Okay, it's yours. Shiratsuri from Yamacho, they're $100 each. Okay. One of that helps you or hinders you. Just taking a picture, guys. Thank you, Lorna. Okay, next. The one that's swimming. The larger one. Was it before Lorna was picking? Is this the one you're talking about? Let me know if this is the one you were talking about. Nope. Okay. So the ones that we had in the net before that were this one and this one. So number one is the smaller one, number two is the larger one. Number one or number two. Number two is the larger. Number two is the larger. Just remembering, number two is the larger. Number one or number two. Okay, so not one of these two. These are the two that were in the net that Lorna was choosing from. Number one and number two is the larger one. So if is it either of these two?
Alyssa says I like
Number two, but Alyssa, I have to. Is Alyssa the one that was commenting before? Jennifer, you have to tell me, is number two the one you wanted before I give that to Alyssa? Okay. Alyssa, this one's yours. Alyssa's gotten from us before? Okay. Good? Okay. So, alright, we are going down. We have some really nice fish here. Let's see.
Jane Danica says I'll take the one you had in the month before, the big one.
The big one. There it is, Jane. It's yours. It is sure Surrey Day.
Bill says Hockey with big white eyebrows.
Well, I don't have those fish anymore. We put all those back. So if you do want that, I can follow with you later. So we're just taking some pictures here. Sometimes the fish is not cooperative and he moves around a little bit. We talk to them all the time about it. You know, guys just post the picture, but you know, they don't always comply. Next. I can. We have 4 in here. You can see them up close. Give me a little bit of a description if you see something you like here. Numbering them, I will forget what the numbering is. It's because they're all the same type of fish. Let me know if you see something you like. But just describe it. Oh, this one right here. Any other feedback before I put these guys back? No? Okay. Guys, we're going to put these guys back and we're going to pick out some other fish. So we have some aoki here. And these are in 2 price ranges at retail. Some very, very nice fish here. But the price is higher on these guys. There's the first batch. It's alright. We'll start with these. Put any more in there or you want to stick with that? Alright, we're going to stick with that. We're going to start with these guys. And these are at 2 price points. These are at $250 and $400. So it depends on the fish. I will just go I'll just put a price on everything in the bowl. We're going to go just $300 for the bowl. So any fish in here is $300. It's not $300 for the entire bowl. It's $300 per fish. These guys are from Aoki. We have some very unique fish in here. And let me know if you see something that you're interested in. They're normally $400. I have a couple that were, this one was a $250. If they're smaller fish, guys, they were actually from a different batch. I'll go $250 on those, on the smaller ones. I know which ones those were. But otherwise, at $300 each, I knocked $100 off the price, and definitely a good deal. Check out this ginga right here. And this is dark, but it's just look at that. It's like a Ginrin ginga. Definitely a cool fish. But take a look in the bowl here. There is a key kujaku, and kujaku are inherently Ginrin. Definitely a cool fish, Scott. This is the golden dragon from Aoki. I actually have 2 in here, I believe, but that's the first one. $300. Very nice fish. Gorgeous. The key is really, really solid on this fish. And the shiroji is nice and white. Very nice scalation down the back. That's $300. Very nice fish. Do we have any takers on this? Scott, you got first dibs because you asked about it. But if Scott doesn't take it, then it is available. So let me hear from you guys. Some absolutely gorgeous fish here. All right. Anyone else? It's $300. Take a look in the bowl. Is there anything else you see that you're interested in? Please let me know. Otherwise, we're going to move on. You guys are awfully quiet today, so I think it's going to be a quick show today, which is okay. Sometimes we have those days. Got a couple here that are just both of these. This Ginga right here. I can. I don't know if you're talking about this one here. It's black, white, and red. There's some Ginra and Matsu Kawabaki here. Did I get it for you? Is it one of these in here? There's a Ginra and Matsu Kawabaki. Is it one of the fish that we have here? Yeah, we can definitely, we're going to do some big ones after this. We're moving up to some other stuff. Gorgeous, gorgeous Ginga. This one's 300. These guys are 250 each. All these three are 250? Okay. Anyone else interested here? This Ginga here is gorgeous. That one's 300. These guys are 250 each. Well, the Ginga. Who's saying yes? So, when you say last, do you know which one she's talking about? This one right here, the Ginga? Or the last one that was put in, the Ginra Namatsu Kawabaki? This one here, this is a Ginra Matsu Kawabaki. There's another one in here, which has a lot more white shiroji on it. You see it somewhere? There it is. Also, a Ginra Matsu Kawabaki. All this sumi black is coming up here. Also, is going to have some sumi on the head. I'll go 250 each on them. Any takers? Alright. Guys, I am going to move on. Here's a gorgeous. Okay. Okay, so this is going to take that for 250. Just trying to get a picture, guys. Just give me a sec. Okay. Okay. Now, what was his description?
Black and dull orange, a little white on both.
Definitely a unique fish. $250. Benny Kiko. Let me know, Scott. This gorgeous Deutsch Sanke here.
Is it a Benny?
Yeah, the Benny Kiko. Definitely a unique fish. Let me know, Scott. Okay. All right. So I have two other fish that I think, are fish that you guys really need to look at here. Ginga, gorgeous, Deutsch Sanke. Okay, these guys are 300. They're worth 400. 300 is the lowest I can go on these. I just know what my pricing is and I know what we can afford to do. I can go to 300 on these guys. Do I have any takers on the Ginga or the Deutsch Sanke? Both gorgeous fish. What are you looking for? Any takers? Number one or number two? Number one is the Ginga, number two, Deutsch Sanke. $300 each. Otherwise, we are going to move on. All right. Guys, take a look at this ball. No, I don't remember. Charles, put them back in here. Just making sure. Number one is the Ginga. Number two is the Deutsch Sanke. Just making sure. Number one is the Ginga. Number two, Deutsch Sanke. Can you just verify? Number two, Deutsch Sanke. Okay, it's yours. Charles, along you. $300. Good. Take a look at the rest of the ball, guys. Is there anything else you want to see? Or am I going to put these guys back and we're going to move on? Interested in anything else before we move on? Look at this. I don't know what I would call this. This is a Poncho Benny Ginga. Well, Key Ginga. Very interesting fish. $250. Very interesting poncho. It actually looks like, so the pattern that's on there right now looks like it could be a portrait of somebody. What an interesting fish. $250. Do we have any takers? Otherwise, we are moving on. Definitely an interesting Ginga. A Poncho Ginga. We have any takers at $250? Just did a very quiet show today. You guys let me know what you're interested in. It would definitely help. We're kind of picking fish based on what you guys have been interested in the past. We're going to put these fish back. I will just put them in a net. If there's a fish you saw, guys, that didn't get sold, I'm happy to pull it out for you. We put all these fish in a holding cage, so we have them for a couple of days. So if you see something you wanted, just let me know. I will honor that price. Okay. I got everyone. I didn't get everyone. One more. You guys have any questions or comments about anything? Let me know. All right. I'm going to go back into this tank. Carry it over. Okay. The price point on that last cage. Thank you. Okay. What? Yeah. Okay. Sure. Okay. put a couple of fish in here. Some of these fish are pretty big. Okay, but I have an amazing price on them. Michael, this one was $6. Okay. $8. Okay. Alright, I have $700 on the Ginrin Sargoy, and everything else in here is $800. This is a Kogain Ochiba, very big. This fish is at least 20 inches. Yeah, 19 to 20 inch big fish. There's a gorgeous Kikakiryu. These guys are $800 each. This is a pearl from Sakaguchi. Let me know if you're interested. These guys are $800 each. Please don't jump. Jumping is not allowed. Gorgeous, gorgeous Kikakiryu. Kogain Ochiba, $800 for this fish is crazy. Okay, here's a gorgeous Tancho Fujaku. This is a pearl, Ginrin, Benigoi, Kikakiryu, definitely looks female. These guys are $800 each, except for the Ginrin Sargoy is $700. Do we have any takers? You guys want some bigger fish? These are some bigger fish at an amazing price. I just got soaked. Completely soaked. No, I mean, it's already, just gotta keep my eye on the Kogain. The Kogain's a jumper. Guys, let me know if you're interested. Do we have any takers on anything? Some amazing prices here. Like, guys, any other dealers would be selling these guys for anywhere from $12 to $2,000. Everything in the ball is $800 except for the Ginrin Sargoy, which is $700. Huh? Sorry, my hand was in the way. I gotta keep my hand here because it's big Kogain. Ochiba is a jumper. No feedback, no comments. You guys aren't jumping on any of these at these prices. I think we're gonna call it a day. It's just a day of not selling today. We have those days. But this is a huge opportunity to get some great fish at an amazing price. Any comments? Any takers? Mark? This big Kogain, almost 20-inch fish for $800 is a steal. Also, this Kikakiryu and this Tancho Fujaku, $800. No comments? All right. I think by grabbing the koi sock, we're gonna call it for today. It's one of those days, which is, again, it's fine. If you see anything in this bowl you're interested in, you can always come back to me after the show. I know exactly where they are. You can go back in there, buddy. All right. So I have to pick this up a different way just because I don't have a lot of room here. No. All right. So just one of those days today. We did sell some nice fish. So thank you very much for those of you who are soaking wet. For those of you that got fish today, Much, much, much appreciated. Again, if you saw anything that didn't sell on the show that you're interested in, let me know. You can text me at 516-547-0164. Again, happy to help you guys any way we can. We'll talk soon. If you have any questions, again, just reach out to me. Thank you very much for joining us on the show, and enjoy the weekend. We'll talk soon.